It's time for the marketplace. In the next 30 minutes, inflation falls to 7.5% in May as rate of increase in prices of goods and services slow down.
127.6 for the month of May 2021 and 118.6 for the month of May 2021. Prices of goods and services have gone up by 7.5%.
Also, financial consultant Charles Mensah proposed a second round of stimulus package targeted at specific industries.
And if we intend to help, it doesn't have to be on a wholesale way. We should pick specific industries, specific company, and then back them up.
Plus,
AGOA is now in force in the United States into 2025. So entrepreneurs don't have to worry, will AGOA be renewed from year to year? So that gives us certain predictability and certainty.
Here the disclosure from the U.S. ambassador stating that AGOA has been extended and also stating that there's huge demand for Ghanaian products. But how prepared is Ghana's export community for this? We'll be joined by the Director of Research and International Cooperation at the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Maxo Kusi. We have all these and more coming up shortly with me, Charles Aite, after this break. Hello and welcome. Inflation eased considerably by 1% to 7.5% in May, signaling a drop in cost of credit, all things being equal. Now, the fall in inflation means that the rate at which prices of goods and services is increasing has slowed down. Food inflation, particularly fruit and vegetables as well as soft drinks, slowed down considerably in May, despite 7 subclasses recording inflation higher than the overall food inflation of 5.4%. Professor Samuel Ening is the government statistician.
CPI for May 2021 recorded 127.6 index relative to 118.6 that was recorded in the month of May 2021. This means that comparing the 127.6 for the month of May 2021 and 118.6 for the month of May 2021, prices of goods and services have gone up by 7.5%. This indicates a 1.0 percentage difference relative to the inflation, year-on-year inflation that was recorded for the month of April 2021. It will be recalled that on a year-on-year basis, inflation for the month of April 2021 was 8.5%, and on a year-on-year basis, inflation for the month of May 2021 was 7.5%. This indicates that general prices of goods and services comparing May 2020 to May 2021 have gone up by 7.5%. For emphasis, comparing May 2020 and May 2021, general prices of goods and services have gone up by 7.5%. On a month-on-month basis, the CPI for May 2021 was 127.6 relative to CPI for April 2021, 126.6. For the month of May 2021, CPI 127.6, and for the month of April 2021, CPI 126.6. Computing inflation from these two indices, month-on-month inflation, that is comparing April 2021 and May 2021, month-on-month inflation stood at 0.8%. This also means that between the month of May 2021 and the month of April 2021 and the month of May 2021, general prices of goods and services did go up by 0.8%. This compares with 1.5% that was recorded on a month-on-month basis between March 2021 and April 2021. This literally means that the rate at which prices are increasing have slowed by 0.7 percentage points. We do the disaggregation from two broad categories, from the perspective of food inflation and non-food inflation, and also from the perspectives of locally produced items and imported items. We continue to see a shrinking of food inflation, as in the month of April 2021 we recorded food inflation of 6.5%. This has reduced by 1.1 percentage point, with May 2021 recording food inflation of 5.4%.
Now, the Greater Accra region still registered the highest rate of inflation of 12.3% in May. It was followed by the Northern and Bono Ahafo regions with inflation rate of 9 and 7.4% respectively. On the other hand, the Western and Eastern regions recorded the lowest inflation of 2.6% respectively. Away from that, the financial consultant Charles Mensah is proposing another round of stimulus package, but wants it well targeted. This follows a new report by the United Nations Development Programme as well as the Ghana Statistical Service, which calls for more support for businesses hit by COVID-19 shocks and, of course, those who are yet to recover. Mr. Mensah tells Joy Business that there must be a clear criteria for the firms that will benefit.
Much as I may agree to the second round of stimulus package, this time round, if we intend to help, it doesn't have to be on wholesale way. We should pick specific industries, specific company, and then back them up. If you look at the pharmaceutical sector, it's an industry that have played a major role, especially with the COVID thing, has played a major role. So specifically if you go to support the packaging of the drugs, the research, converting the research thing into mainstream, it helps. So I don't want to see a stimulus package where it's general, that we are giving 600 million to support SME. No, it should be, we are giving a certain amount to help companies in the agro-processing, for instance, or we are giving specific money to support people in the construction industry. Then we can follow. Now, if we don't do that, we generalize it. Yes, government may account for it and say we have spent 600 million cedis to help the industry. But unless we break it down, because especially we have a lot of unemployment, so which sector can pick more employment? And I know that agriculture is the best. As we speak, COVID or no COVID, people are still eating. So I think the packaging, the agro-processing of the agriculture is the big thing that we have to push and push it right.
So you're looking at a more targeted second round of stimulus package for sectors that might employ more people, sectors that impact directly on key sectors of the economy.
Very much so, very much so. So if we do, I mean, if you look at the construction industry, the road sector, for instance, I'm sure that they will engage quite a number of young men and women in the sector. If we extend that to factories being built, except that most of the factories are being built, which I have observed, especially 1D1F, are all prefab. So once prefab comes in, yes, it's a technology, but there's no serious construction recruitment in that sector. So the best bet is agro-processing.
Now, the Internal Audit Institute is pushing for a charter within a year or two that will benchmark performance of internal auditors against global best practices in governance, risk and control. Some internal auditors pre-notified the boards of financial institutions that collapsed during the financial sector crisis, but unfortunately, no action was taken in most instances. The president of the institute, Daniel Kwampa, spoke to Joy Business at the virtual annual National Internal Audit and Governance Conference. There is more in this report.
The audit agency will not condone unlawful practices by members, hence the implementation of standards and best practices. According to him, the charter will seek to reposition internal auditors as professionals with integrity. He therefore called on government and other stakeholders to willfully support the institute in this endeavor.
What we're trying to achieve is to get an act of parliament and be recognized as a chartered institute, just like any other profession, ICA, Ghana, Medical Association, law and all that. That is what we are working on right now, to get our charter so that we can have that leverage to really engage with our members and then run it as a professional body. And then, like how ICA investigated those banks and came up with the disciplinary measures, yes, we can also apply that kind of measure to ensure that our members uphold the ethics of the profession.
Mr. Kwampa also urged internal auditors, particularly those in the public sector, to up their game and exhibit professionalism all the time.
As an institute, we deal with both the public and the private sector. And I can confirm that most of our members are from the public sector. And we think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the public sector in terms of building the capacity of internal auditors, developing their skills, their proficiency, getting them to certify as internal auditors, get a professional certification for internal auditors. And then also we need to get the stakeholders in the public sector to appropriately place the internal audit to such that they give them some level of autonomy, because even though they are part of the organization, they are supposed to be independent.
The theme for this year's conference is to explore and innovate in a disruptive environment. The conference has over 400 participants from across Ghana and Africa.
Now, the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, that gives Ghanaian and other African exporters access to the American market has been extended to 2025. The American ambassador to Ghana, Sullivan Stephanie, disclosed this to Joy Business, and the reason for the renewal and extension, according to her, is due to the high demand of Ghanaian goods and also the resolve by the U.S. government to grant Ghanaian exporters some certainty in their exports to the United States.
There's another facility that came as a consequence of the visit of then Secretary of Commerce Wilbur Ross, July 2018. It's a $300 million loan facility for small, medium enterprises for loan guarantees to import U.S. products and services that will help them go maybe from good to great. Because all the big companies, think about the tech companies, any company you've heard of started somewhere. And so, they say a mighty oak grows from a single acorn. Exactly. And so it's really important to nurture the entrepreneurs. And I know that the government of Ghana is looking at additional ways to make credit available to help boost the private sector, which is very key.
Well, with the private sector comes the potential of exports, and under exports, we do know that the Africa Growth Opportunity Act, AGOA, has also seen so many businesses upscale in their export lines. Help me understand the state of AGOA as we speak now.
Well, AGOA is now in force in the United States into 2025. So entrepreneurs don't have to worry, will AGOA be renewed from year to year. So that gives us certain predictability and certainty. There are about 1,800 different products that can be exported from Ghana duty-free into the United States. Some of these are in the agriculture sector, some of them are in the textile sector. Petroleum is a big beneficiary of AGOA as well. So again, through the West Africa Trade Hub, people can access resources that will help them better understand how to participate in AGOA.
Well, let's now bring in the Director of Research and International Cooperation at the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Maxwell Kusi. We're so grateful, sir, that you joined us. How has AGOA been to Ghana's export margins, looking at the impact so far?
Thank you very much for having me. It's good that we have the AGOA, but the impact so far has not been felt due to some homework that we have to do. At the moment, we are looking at the national export strategy that can look at how we can take advantage of the AGOA. Initially, there were issues of trade enabling environment where our exporters can take advantage. Also, we think that for us to maximally benefit from AGOA, there must be a foreign direct investment, which we have promoted since AGUA came into being, there are also fiscal reforms and monetary policy that affect our entrepreneurs and our business people. In addition to that, the U.S. food compliance system, everybody knows that you need to go through a certain rigorous, and we need companies that are, all these are the challenges that affect our companies that they cannot take advantage. In addition to the capacity building that we have to give to our people. Initially, we have trained them to be able to take advantage of that, but some enabling environment, not all that perfect for them to take advantage. That is why we have not fully taken advantage of that.
That's quite worrying. But when you say some enabling environment, is this on the part of Ghana, or are you talking of an environment in the U.S.? We want to know where exactly you're talking about.
It's part of Ghana. We look at the inflation rate then. It was too high when initially it was launched. It has been extended about this is about a third or fourth time that has been extended. Now that the inflation rate is also going down, these are all reforms that can help an entrepreneur to take advantage of. Then, for somebody to also export food products to U.S., the compliance, you need some investment. So those are the challenges that we need to address to a certain point before we can take advantage.
Well, listening to the ambassador, it is obvious that some exporters have suffered at the end of regulation, as you've rightly stated. But in what way has GEPA dealt with this matter?
Suffered in what sense? That they could not take advantage of that.
No,
not that
no.
their companies
No,
have suffered in terms of...
Not exactly. The U.S. ambassador has stated that even though this huge market is available, most Ghanaian products have had to be, rejected in the market because they couldn't meet the various regulations, be it from the FDA or other regulations stipulated within the AGUA Act. How do you respond to this, and how is GEPA dealing with this matter?
What she was talking about is that inability to take advantage. What happened was that is duty-free protective. What happened was that people were not qualified in terms of, because let's say I want to export pineapple. You need, customs have to come to your premises. What are the infrastructure there that you can supply me with this product with the requirement? You need to install this, you need to install that before the product can be accepted. People are exporting. If you take yam, for example, they are exporting, but they are not taking advantage of the AGUA. We are still exporting, but we are not taking advantage of the AGUA because there are conditionalities in terms of inspection. Customs must come to you, must register with customs that yes, I want to take advantage of the AGUA. Once you do that, periodically customs have to ensure that your infrastructure requirements are always maintained and adhered to. If you do that, then you can export. But most of them, they export without going through it. Though it entered, the only thing that she was talking about is that they would have taken it the advantage in a sense that they put in some infrastructure that can help them. If you take this textiles and garments, and if you go to what the BTRT at Old Kingsway place, you could see the kind of infrastructure that they have put in place. They have put in that infrastructure so that workers' safety and all those things can help them to export. So those companies are benefiting from AGWA. But our companies that for food infrastructure, you have to do a lot of work. You need money. And so those are the things that we need to do. Because for an individual exporter or producer to go to bank and borrow at this level to come and put in this infrastructure, we need to do a lot of work.
So where does...
I think that these are the challenges that we see.
So where does GEPA fall in all of these issues, especially when we do know that even though it's been extended to 2025, the National Export Development Strategy is also being put in force to ensure that Ghana's export margins, are leveraged in a higher perspective. So where does GEPA fall amidst all these challenges?
GEPA was actually providing training in terms of what the exporters require. But when it comes to investment issues, you can refer them to other the commercial bank or the Exim Bank or the other offshore banks. But with the advent of the National Export Development Strategy, what we are doing now is to look for a collaboration with these banks to really understand how the market is and to help them. So all these are being addressed in the National Export Development Strategy that will start very soon, which has been launched and has been achieved. So AGWA, Ghanaian companies are going to take advantage of AGWA with the support of the Ministry of Trade and Industry to look at all the financial institutions to help on it. We are also promoting the foreign direct investment, American who knows best about what your market is, to invest in Ghana, like what we did for the Europeans when Blue Sky and the others came to invest here and now they are exporting there. So those are the measures that we have taken place in the National Export Development Strategy so that we can benefit from the expanded AGWA.
All right, we're so grateful that you joined us. Maxwell Kusi, the Director of Research and International Cooperation at the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA. Now, the Association of Oil Marketing Companies says that its members cannot be blamed for the increase in fuel prices. He says that the prices are adjusted anytime there is a change on the international market. According to the association's chief executive, at best, the OMCs can be sensitive to consumers anytime there is an upward adjustment in petroleum products.
A charity organization to begin with. We're a business. And you must appreciate the fact that the first time when the prices for the taxes were increased, we had an equal measure of price increase. The next window, the prices were going up in the world market. We didn't do anything. We were quiet because we were sensitive to the issue of the fact that, 4 weeks running and you're going to increase the price, do too much on the consumers. So we swallowed it. Now, but remember, we cannot continue swallowing as we move along. At some point, we may have to come back again and increase the price. As of now, our CD-dollar relationship is fine. We don't have problems with that. The only thing we can make it go up is the international price, which goes up. Then obviously we have to respond. But we are very sensitive to consumers' interest because the price increase in fuel is very inflationary. So we really don't want to get there. If gradually it's coming down, you will not feel it. Okay. It has been an issue of trading. Okay. Because you may have to go back and buy. And if your stock has not finished, you can price lower, you lose. Okay. So you have to go and get a new one. But be as it may, but if it's consistently going down, given the deregulation environment, the price will go down. We witness that. I can show you graphs.
At this juncture, let's now bring you tips on how to spend your money wisely from our Money Lab.
On today's edition of Money Lab, we want to look at how investors can reduce risk or manage risk in their investment portfolio. There are two factors that investors have to consider, and this is age and the amount that you are investing. We all know that a risk that a 20-year-old who has just started work will take is different from the kind of risk a 55-year-old who has just 5 years to retirement will take. Also, if you are losing 10,000 out of a total investment portfolio of 1 million, is different from losing 15,000 out of an investment portfolio of 30,000. So anytime you are going to look at investing, ensure that you spread your wings around. Invest in different asset classes, some short-term, medium-term, and others long-term. This will help you diversify your portfolio and minimize your risk. Also, you can consider investing across various countries and currencies to help you in minimizing your risk. Join us on the next edition of Money Lab as we continue our discussion.
And that's how we end Marketplace. I'm Charles Aite. Many thanks for watching.